na najua watu wanataka kujiuliza maswali mingi. We've talked about AI before, but then there's the automation and how we would like things done. Najua mi nitamisi culture ya if it ever happens to the fullest, like 200%, I'll miss culture ya uko na 30 bob nikupatie 70 bob mgawane nyinyi mkiwa wanne, like you know that culture for matatu.
You're there doing math like
like
70 plus 30 ni 100 ukitupea so tukua
kuna 30 nikupatie 50 Mariam. Ina matatu umeingia pale, you've given 1,000 shillings, you're just looking at the concode, unamwangalia zile za this person should
swing kwa mlango na pesa yako. Get serious with life man. We are absolutely talking about matters automation in AI, especially when it comes to transport, because it's something we've attempted to do before. And we have in studio with us Munyala Mwalo, who is the founder of Space AI, also quite the authority in matters AI and design, and we wanted to have him in studio to help us break down the possibilities for Kenya. Munyala, I'll begin with just give us a brief introduction of what you do and what Space AI is.
Well, that's complicated, but so I'm a behavioral designer. That's what I'm authority in, but I'm also in the tech space. I run a company called Space AI. AI can mean a lot of things in our context. We do a lot of projects in the dairy sector, so farmers call it artificial insemination, and then here we call it artificial intelligence, so it really matters. But then I'm obsessed with data, so we're in the business of organizing data and making sense out of it, and then creating value for it. And that's a design-led process plus technology and all the shenanigans. So that's I think a summarized way of calling myself.
I like that. It's data, analyzing it, creating value out of it. And when you think about data, is already incredibly valuable, but as we move more into the future, it gets more and more valuable, right? And I think of our transport system and the things that like Brian is saying, we live in a world where things are just it's helter-skelter, right? There's no real plan. There doesn't seem to be any urban planning behind the way we do things. We've attempted to do cashless systems, a little bit of automation here and there. Do you think that Kenya is where we're ready to fully automate our transport system and be like, you know what, I tap and go here, I'm cashless everywhere, my bus is on schedule, my train is on schedule? Do you think we're near that as a country, or it's a pipe dream?
Fantasy za kirasta.
I think stories are jaba.
No.
Stories are jaba.
No, I think Kenya is quite ahead. So because if I think about AI, there are several things that are quite important. So first I'll start with ethics, which is the extreme, and then I'll talk about governance, and then you'll come into data, and if data is actually available, and then infrastructure, which I think on infrastructure Kenya we are good. Internet coverage tuko sawa. I think we're about 98% coverage or something. And 5G in most of our towns, we have it. Infrastructure-wise, I think technology has advanced so much. You can use remote computing power to make sure that AI can actually work. Governance, now that's where the problem comes. Because I think we do have an innovation space that is ready to actually create solutions. But then also, is governance ready to actually sort of go in par with it? And in my opinion, I feel like also our interpretation of what AI really can do has been, we need to contextualize it, yeah? So because we think about it in terms of what is happening in the Western countries.
True.
Automated vehicles, transport systems, trains. Hapata trains zetu, we still don't have that railway itself. If you look at the automation process, for instance, if a matatu was being driven by AI, for instance, is Nduthi guy going to react to it as they would react to an
Can it predict the Nduthi guy's movements?
Exactly.
Absolutely not.
So I'm looking at yes, AI comes to organize unstructured ecosystems where there's unstructured data. A conversation where I'm napiga stories za jaba and someone is taking notes and can actually say, this is Mariam speaking. That's the capability of AI. But then in a very confused environment, unstructured environment like, say, River Road, are we thinking of applying AI in automating vehicles, or we can use it for something else? So in my opinion, I think for the public transport system, not yet there. But I don't think it's also a problem to think about right now.
We have much bigger fish to fry.
I feel so, yeah.
So most people are excited about the new electric buses and how it's gone cashless. And they're looking at it as a way of, since it's automated, and the system you can pretty much collect without the physical cash, and most Kenyans are actually excited for that. But Kenyans are also looking at a culture, especially the matatu culture, which is such a Kenyanized thing or way of thinking, and they're thinking of the impact of that and how it's going to maybe render some people jobless. Give you an example: the person who collects tunamwitanga conductor, the person who collects money, they feel like that's one extra hand that's fed from the whole process. What do you think will be the impact generally of automating all these systems if Kenya decides, even through the governance and policies, we can uphold AI?
I think we are in transformation. Like, we can't stop it. So things have to change. But then also before we even talk about the job of this guy, there's let me call it a cartel system in every system. So over and above this guy losing his job, the most important thing he thinks of first is kwanza ile do extra yenye anamekingi will not be there. Okay, so they'll definitely resist the implementation of technology, and I think you've seen that. I think there was a time 2017 or before that they tried to go cashless.
There was a card and then you load it and then you tap and pay.
Exactly. And then we went to M-Pesa during COVID, and now you could see matatus write no M-Pesa accepted here. And now we are transitioning again to something new. So the electric buses are creating a new wave of change, which is a slow transition towards the new technology, new way of doing things, where AI tech is actually helping develop things. So it's allowing people to start transitioning into something else. So Concorde mwenye alikuwa anachukua do, just cash money, are they able to actually start thinking of, okay, so if this job is going, then what else am I going to do?
True.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of opportunities. So whether we like it or not, it's like the thing that happened in tea harvesting. That these machines that came, they burnt them, now they are there. So what are those people doing? So whether we like it or not, the transition actually has to happen.
It's just a matter of where you will be when the transition happens.
Tujipange. I think we need to start thinking about that.
We're going to have going to the music for a little while and then come back and continue this conversation with Munyala. We've got Vijana Barubaru with Romantic Call. Watu wa 5G signals, man. Usipande network kama mti. I mean, usipande mti kama network ni blanda.